detected. Begin sequence.
Let's get into some games, and we're going to start with the very first cartridge which came along and was boxed with this machine. You can see it here, game program. It says on here, Combat, simple tank game. Let's check it out. So guys, the bizarre thing about Combat, of course, one of the first games, or the first game to ship with the VCS, is that it's, you know, it's 2 players, there's no AI. And the first version, or the first variation of the game, as you can see, was pretty damn basic. So I could fire and steer my shots and hit your mate. And of course, you need your mate to be moving around as well. And, and there's no barriers on this variation. It was all very basic. But I still remember, guys, having fun even with this variation, as you know, the other guy's moving around and you're trying to get your bullets to move, and you can't move very fast either, so it's all part of the fun. But if you change the game selection, you have got variations, and then of course it's a little bit better when it has a little bit more stuff like this, where you've got things to work around. So this was more traditional to the game Tank in the arcades, which was really cool. Actually, I love playing that Tank game in the arcades, and I definitely did play that game actually before playing this at home, which is why I sort of really took to this game. But yeah, you need to have someone else to play with you. Now this version, you know, tended to be quite slow as you cruise around, and hard to hit each other. But there's a variation later, that's where we got number 6, I think it is. And this one here, it actually bounces off like a bit of pong. And this one was heaps of fun, because you could, you know, try and ricochet it. There you go. Get the guy behind the shields. So yeah, so it was a lot of fun. Obviously extremely basic gameplay, and every one of these early Atari carts had so many variations, and they sort of touted them like there was like a whole heap of games on the one cartridge, but really it's just different variations on the same theme. So yeah, let's we'll move on from Combat. But I will say, you know, again, this came with the machine. I still really loved it and really enjoyed this game. All right, the next one we should move on to is Space Invaders. Don't you love these colors? It changes colors to save the old CRT, the original CRT in the televisions, of course. So it had a screensaver built in. And that's pretty useful for me now, because now running this on an OLED, which also has burn-in problems if you leave the same image on with the same color. So hey, it's useful again. So anyway, Space Invaders, guys. Well, again, go back to those episodes where I've done a special on Spaces, and you can really understand my love of the game. I was disappointed with this version, and even though I was disappointed, I still played the hell out of this game. So let's just get into it and play here. Let me turn that light off too. We've got a bad reflection, haven't we? There we go. So what I didn't like was the fact that Atari licensed the names, but you know, got the Space Invaders name. They licensed the game name. They could have had accurate characters, and they just didn't. They could have had better sounds, I'm sure. I mean, I know the VCS was limited, but these sounds, I mean, look, the marching sound is okay. It's still high pitch. It's not a low doom 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 that Space Invaders had. The sounds of the missiles, the explosions are terrible. And of course, look, the Space Invaders themselves look nothing like the originals. And it's not like the VCS can't do it. It certainly was able to do it. I mean, if anything, I give them credit for the invaders that they came up with, because they're actually quite cool looking if I look at them now. But I was just so disappointed that they didn't look like the original ones. You know, back then, the whole arcade experience was so mesmerizing that being able to get that at home would have been so cool. And I remember looking through some magazines, and I think it was like that. Was it the Atom in the UK? Like some of the UK magazines would show. I think it was the Coleco Atom. Is that right? One of them anyway had screenshots of Space Invaders, and I don't think it actually played that well, but it looked just like Space Invaders. And I remember looking at the screenshot, just thinking I was so jealous of how that looked. But apparently the gameplay wasn't that good. And look, I will give it to this version. It's smooth. It's actually fun to play. It just doesn't authentically look like Space Invaders, but it still has the same same sort of frantic play to it. And the other thing, guys, is that that sound when you die, it's almost like you've passed wind. That's what it sounds like, which is pretty atrocious. I don't get like the graphics capabilities with the 2600. Like, it seems like it can be so limited in some ways, and yet I know when I was shooting through those barriers just then, it seemed like the dots were really quite small. It was like almost quite high res, and even the dots there on the exploding ship. And guys, this isn't the best quality, I must admit. I'm going straight out of the RF from the VCS. I'm going straight into the OLED TV, which has an RF port on the back, and that's actually why I decided to do this video, because I haven't been able to play the Atari because I haven't had a way to connect it up to the old projector that I had. When I bought the OLED, I realized there was an RF button in the back, a socket in the back, which was amazing. Plugged it straight in, did a tune, and it picked it up. I was really surprised, because I thought it would just be digital. Anyway, it's bizarre too when you finish the game like this. The ship's now just exploded, but it normally allows you to move around, which is quite bizarre. Anyway, that is Space Invaders. As I said, bit of a letdown in terms of the graphics and the sounds. I still loved it though. Definitely a classic in its own unique way, really. And I definitely played the hell out of that.
You belong.